You know something's really off when whispers start circulating around one of Formula One's brightest stars. Lately, the spotlight has shifted toward Charles Leclerc, not because of a win or an incredible race, but due to something far more unsettling. Those close to the Ferrari driver have hinted that he's growing increasingly uneasy with where the team is heading. Even though his contract with Ferrari stretches all the way to 2029, there are clauses that could allow him to walk away under the right conditions. This has naturally sparked serious talk. Could Charles be considering a switch to Mercedes? It's not a wild guess either. Mercedes still hasn't locked in George Russell with a contract renewal, which makes the timing of this uncertainty quite interesting. Could they be setting the stage to bring Leclerc in instead of chasing after Verstappen? Ferrari's performance in the 2025 season has been far from what fans and the team hoped for. Despite Leclerc securing podium finishes in Monaco and Barcelona, those results don't reflect the true pace, or lack thereof, that Ferrari is showing this year. Beneath the surface, it's clear that all isn't well. Multiple sources have mentioned that Leclerc is unhappy with the direction the team is taking, and that throws a serious shadow over Ferrari's plans for 2026. The Italian team has made big promises about challenging for the title in the upcoming engine era, but it may be too late for Leclerc to believe in those claims. Even though he's shown years of loyalty to the team, with 8 wins since 2019, there's a growing feeling that he's losing faith. It's not about emotions anymore, it's about results. And Ferrari hasn't been able to deliver what it takes to make a real title push. There's growing doubt in Charles Leclerc's mind about whether Ferrari can truly handle the pressure of the next major regulation shift in Formula One. His concerns aren't just based on rumors or emotion, they come from observing how the team has struggled time and time again. Whether it's a missed upgrade on the SF25 or false optimism about untapped potential, the pattern is repeating itself. Ferrari hasn't made the breakthrough they've been chasing. Even when the car has shown flashes of speed, the team has failed to make that count. Compare that to McLaren, who pulled off a major turnaround in just over a season. That kind of progress is exactly what Leclerc wishes he could experience. But he's still waiting. Take Oscar Piastri, for example. He's won 7 races with McLaren in under 2 seasons. That's nearly as many as Charles has collected over his much longer stint with Ferrari. This contrast is glaring, and it raises a big question. Is Charles wasting his prime years, waiting for Ferrari to get it right? Let's not forget that Ferrari hasn't always been this inconsistent. 2 of Leclerc's wins came in 2019 at Spa and Monza, a time when Mercedes were practically unbeatable. So it's not like he hasn't delivered under pressure. The issue is more about the decisions being made by the team's leadership. It's as if they're unsure how to build a real championship campaign, whether in terms of race strategy or car development. And this brings us back to the possibility of Charles stepping away. If he decides to explore new opportunities, it wouldn't be out of the blue. It would be the result of years of frustration building up. Right now, all signs point to Mercedes being the most suitable option. People close to Charles have revealed that he's already weighing his options. One name keeps coming up: Mercedes. Reports from sources familiar with his inner circle and the Italian press suggest that the Brackley-based team is currently the most realistic destination. Why? Because many in the paddock believe that Mercedes could return to the front when the 2026 rules kick in, especially with their strong track record in engine development. Team boss Toto Wolff has gone on record saying his future lineup revolves around Russell and Antonelli. But in Formula One, nothing is set in stone. With Leclerc visibly unsettled and Ferrari under pressure, Wolff could reconsider. After all, it wasn't long ago that Charles was one of the first names on his list to replace Lewis Hamilton had the timing worked out. Back then, Leclerc's long-term Ferrari deal shut that door. Now, with things shifting behind the scenes, that door might open again, and there's more at stake. George Russell's position, while publicly seen as secure, could come under serious review if Leclerc expresses interest. There's no denying Russell's strong performances. He's earned praise for his speed and consistency. But when a driver like Charles becomes available, any team with championship ambitions will think long and hard. Wolff knows that matching the best drivers with the best machinery is crucial. If he sees Leclerc as someone who could bring that extra edge, he won't hesitate to make a move, especially if Mercedes believe they'll have the fastest car once the new regulations arrive. It's a fine balance between loyalty to current drivers and the opportunity to sign a potential title winner. Why are so many people starting to believe that Charles might walk away from Ferrari? The dissatisfaction isn't just a minor concern anymore. It's becoming more visible with every passing race. Both Charles and Lewis Hamilton have voiced concerns about where the team is heading. While public statements are often polished, the tone behind them tells a different story. Key figures like John Elkann and Benedetto Vigna, who hold leadership roles within Ferrari, are reportedly growing impatient. The lack of clear progress, both in terms of performance on track and overall results, has become hard to ignore. One of the most telling signs was when rumors emerged about Ferrari reaching out to Hamilton, a claim he denied. But even that whisper was enough to indicate that the team may already be thinking about replacing someone in the current structure. Within Ferrari, there's also internal confusion. Even though the 2025 season has been underwhelming, they're still pouring significant resources into developing the current car. The drivers, though, aren't convinced those upgrades are translating into actual gains. Charles, in particular, is said to be losing confidence. He's reportedly expressed doubts, even suggesting that there's hardly any hope left for a competitive fight this year. This kind of disconnection between drivers and team management is always dangerous. It eats away at morale and erodes trust. And for someone like Leclerc, who has already shown so much commitment, it's only natural to start thinking about alternatives, especially if those alternatives are more aligned with winning. Loyalty has its limits, and when it starts to feel like progress is no longer possible, even the most patient drivers begin to consider an exit, especially if that exit leads to a team with a better shot at the title. All of this puts Ferrari in a very tricky position. If Charles decides to activate an exit clause, the team may suddenly find itself without its most dependable talent. It's not just about losing a fast driver. It's about losing someone who has carried the brand through tough times and stuck around when he easily could have left earlier. That kind of departure sends a strong message. The internal direction isn't working. So what would be next for Ferrari? There are already whispers about who might step in if things fall apart. Names like Antonello Coletta have surfaced. Someone who's done well in Ferrari's endurance racing program and already knows how the system works from the inside. He's respected within the organization and could bring some much-needed structure. However, it's important to remember that he's previously turned down the chance to lead the F1 team. Would he change his mind now? That remains uncertain. As for Leclerc, if Mercedes truly wants him, now might be the perfect time to make a move. They have the technical resources, a proven management structure, and a clear plan for the next regulation era. For Charles, that could mean better odds of fighting for a championship, something that's looked increasingly unlikely with Ferrari in recent seasons. Meanwhile, Mercedes also has a card to play with Max Verstappen. If Max feels pressure from Red Bull's ongoing internal problems, and if he sees Mercedes making serious offers to other big names, he might reconsider his own future. This reshuffling could give Mercedes leverage in any future talks. So while nothing has been confirmed yet, one thing is clear. Charles Leclerc's dissatisfaction has triggered a ripple effect that could change the face of Formula One in 2026 and beyond. Whether he stays or goes, his decision will set the tone for how teams plan their future. And as the season unfolds, fans and insiders alike will be watching closely, because whatever happens next will shape not just the fate of one driver, but the direction of two legendary teams.